Now, I do not talk about movies a lot, but we do talk about China and the effects that their market has had on us in the West. Looking at video games in particular, a lot of games have had aspects that are changed to follow their rules and their regulations, such as less sexualized characters and less violence in specific scenarios, have started to carry over to our video games in the West. Look at how often Blizzard changes aspects of things like Hearthstone. They change their artwork so that these products can exist in the Chinese markets, yet those changes still affect us because we do not have different uncensored versions in the West. We have the same exact versions that are made for their markets. And since so many larger companies want a taste of that sweet, untapped Chinese market, we've seen more and more companies do this. And this obviously is not just with video games, but with media in general. Things like shows and movies, and that is really what I wanted to talk about today. Because again, we are seeing the effects of the Chinese market slipping into our everyday lives. In the new trailer for Top Gun Maverick, the Taiwanese and Japanese patches on the back of Maverick's jacket were actually removed. Compared to how his jacket used to look, and his jacket is iconic, it tells pieces of history of the character. There's a very big reason why it was actually changed, and that reason is because of Tencent. The movie is being produced in part by Tencent Pictures, and Tencent, of course, has a subsidiary in the gaming market. Tencent Holdings fully acquired Riot Games in 2015. They own a 40% stake in Epic Games, 5% of Ubisoft, and also a very fair, hefty stake in Activision Blizzard. And they also own the publishing rights to tons of games like Fortnite, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, H1Z1, FIFA Online, Rainbow Six Siege, Path of Exile. They have their corporate hands in so many companies that affect United States consumers that these changes that they are making to media is becoming more and more noticeable every single day. All of Tencent's projects are overseen by China's communist government, which has the final say on everything that they do, including things that Tencent has done in conjunction with the United States and European countries. So keep that in mind as well. And China has a huge market for American-made films. Avengers Endgame made more than $600 million from the country alone. Tencent has co-founded very, very popular films like Wonder Woman, Venom, and even Bumblebee. The problems that are between Japan, Taiwan, and China are very long-standing, but they have nothing to do with us. China does not want the flag of Taiwan recognized, and they go out of their way to not show it in any forms of media that they can. They believe that the island country of Taiwan belongs to them, and it is a rogue providence that must be brought under their fold. In 1971, China had Taiwan removed and replaced in the United Nations while also having them unrecognized as a nation by almost every country in the world. Taiwan, though not recognized as a country, has acquired many business deals and treaties over the years with places such as the United States, which has a large investment in Taiwan. These agreements are some of the reasons that they have kept China from just taking over the island. The problem that China has with Japan has to do with the acknowledgement of the atrocities that China incurred at the hands of the Japanese in World War II, and even before that. The Chinese believe that the Japanese have not appropriately apologized or even atoned for what had happened, and even in recent years have tried to wash the events of those wars from their textbooks, creating protests and outcries from the Chinese. There have been improved relations over the years, but a divide still exists. But these are just some of the reasons why a Chinese citizen may be angry at seeing these flags. The writers, directors, and the costume designers did not change a very simple jacket for story purposes, and that should be pretty obvious at this point. They would not be worried about changing something as iconic as his jacket, and as I stated before, the jacket has historical implications for Tom Cruise's character. It is clear as a sunny day that the patches were censored out to appease Tencent. Some analysts do believe that actions like this are fine because these companies need to be sensitive to various international markets and make sure that they are, at the very least, there are no offending visuals or storylines. But what this really is censorship. And when a movie like Top Gun, which is not based on Chinese history, culture, or their military, but is based on the United States, where these flags would not cause this level of anger, we in the West should not be forced to endure censored visuals to placate a Chinese corporation. And I do understand that in retrospect, it is just patches on a jacket, but it is the long-term effect, things we have seen happen with Tencent and censorship, things we are seeing, and things that we will see escalate in the future. So this brings me to my final point. Where does this leave us with Tencent and our media? Are we heading towards a future where the Chinese government really has a say in what we in America see because of their control over corporations? Or are we already there? It's something that we have to consider. I do understand that these topics are very complicated ones. Geopolitical issues are very complicated, cultural divides are complicated, but you know what is not complicated? Censorship. That is all that I wanted to talk about today. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of the patches being censored to please different international markets? If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys again in the next one really soon.